It's January 1st, 2023, and I thought I'd share some stuff I got, favorites of 2022 or whatever, things that came out in 2022, I don't know. Stuff that I acquired in 2022 that's not from 2022. I'm sick of saying 22. In this video, I'm going to share the record I spent the most time with in 2022, the one I spun the most and listened to on streaming the most, the one that got the most, the one I guess I liked it the most, right? It's funny how you would say that. Like, I might say that I like some other bands better, but I listened to this one a lot, and you'll see. I'll show you. Stick around. On with the experience here. This one I got really recently, and technically it was in 2022, so just a few weeks ago. This is the band Roadside Monument. Not sure if you heard of this band. This is Seattle punk, a little grunge. Tooth and Nail Records is the label on this, and Capitol. Interesting story behind Tooth and Nail. Brandon Ebel he was actually enshrined now at the Silver Platters in Seattle. Somebody did a huge mural in the back of the store, all sorts of cool Seattle stuff, and they put a little thing of Brandon Ebel in there. So Tooth and Nail, probably their most successful signing band was MXPX. So let's ride on through the rain. Which is from the Peninsula. The boys from MXPX did pretty well. Still doing pretty good today. But this is another band that they signed. This is Roadside Monument. This song, so the name of the album, I Am the Day of Current Taste. And the title song, side A, is incredible. This is again, kind of punk grunge. That song has a lot of different, like if you laid underneath wind chimes on a warm summer day and you're hearing them chime, as a breeze goes through, that song in the beginning is kind of like that, except with feedback. Like the feedback is just amazing. But this is an amazing record. I'm so happy that I got a copy of Roadside Monuments. I Am the Day of Current Taste. Should I show you the wax? Oh, I think I'm gonna do that. No, I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to do that because he's gonna sign it. That's my friend Matt's gonna sign it. When I have a conversation with him sometime, talk about Seattle music in the 90s, early 2000s. Here's an album. Well, here's some songs that I spent a lot of time with. And then this came out. This is 6 a.m., the band 6 a.m. Hits. If you don't know 6 a.m., 6 a.m. is Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue. Started this project after he wrote a book called The Heroin Diaries. From what I understand, the band started with this book, and he wrote an album based on this book. Nikki Sixx was a heroin addict and beat heroin, which is not an easy thing. Many rock stars have died using heroin, as many of you I'm sure know. The book's pretty cool. It's got a lot of really cool art. It's sort of a shout out to the Garage Geek in his channel, because he was talking about not just records and music, but books as well. Books you've read in 2022. I read this one a while back, so. But he did, there's another one. Anyway, yeah, some of the artwork. 1987, December. The quote is, he says, "If you don't change your ways, you won't live to see the end of the year." And that was December of 1987. just an interesting story. Alice Cooper wrote the foreword to this book, and that's one of the things he says. More artwork. Yeah, not many people live through using heroin. Most of the rock stars that Alice knew that got into heroin didn't make it. So, you know, anybody fighting addiction or struggling with something like that, like there is hope. There really is. I am 32 years clean from using heroin. I didn't put it in my veins, but I did use heroin, crack cocaine, methamphetamine, just about a myriad of horrible substances I put in my body at the time. And I'm still alive today, and getting free from that stuff wasn't easy. All right, so I'm fascinated by stories like Nikki Sixx's, because here's a guy who has, or had at the time, everything that most people are searching, wanting, or reaching for, right? You think about desire. A lot of these success gurus and stuff, well, you just need to, you know, be successful in your life. Like, you know, Nikki Sixx was rich, successful, using heroin. Like there's something deeper going on. Kurt Cobain, what's that about, right? Like there's something else going on besides what many of us are chasing or believing. Like, if I just had enough money and if people loved me, then I would be happy. No, not necessarily. So it's going into some philosophy or theology. It's sort of the King Solomon story, right? Like this guy who has it all but is still miserable. And why is that? I'm fascinated by stories like that. What else? 2022 related stuff. Here's some stuff I got. This is more greatest hits stuff. Blink-182 greatest hits came out, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like Blink-182. They're a pop punk band, you know, early 2000s. There's some great tunes that these guys put out. All the Small Things, we all remember that. Damn It. What's My Age Again? Just a fun, but also, you know, with kind of a deeper... All this music has a bit of a sadness or a blues to it, you know? A lot of punk music does. Like there's something going on below the surface with the guys, with the girls, with the artists. Another one, My Chemical Romance. This was a band that helped me through some hard times. Just some of the music that good old Gerard Way put out. Gerard Way. This is a gatefold, and the boys in My Chemical Romance. Thank You for the Venom. This is on jalapeno green vinyl, by the way. What does jalapeno green vinyl look like? It's not just green vinyl, it's jalapeno green vinyl. So it is green like a not so ripe jalapeno pepper. That's what that is. Green jalapenos. My Chemical Romance, the greatest hits. May death never stop you. Part of you needs to die to really live. That's some moving forward in 2023 kind of philosophy stuff there for you. How's that? Another punk. I'm just going through some punk stuff that I got. Did I get this one in 2022, 2023, 2022? Did I say 2023 earlier? I don't know. Sex Pistols. This is the original recordings. It's kind of a cool comp. I think this came out not too long, over the summer, I believe it was. There was so much good stuff that came out that week. It was almost like it wasn't record store day, but it kind of was. Like this album came out, which was great. The Sex Pistols. See, 2022, it says right there at the bottom. And those are the tracks. Great record. Sometimes I'm just in the Sex Pistols kind of mood. This was a good one. Found this online. I think I bought this directly from the band's website, if I recall correctly. It was a good price. This is like less than 20 bucks. Teenage Bottle Rocket. How many of you guys like Teenage Bottle Rocket out there? Comment in the section below. Every one of their albums has this image on it, and it's just like a different color and a different, right? This came out in 2021, all right? So it's not 2022, but it was new to me in 2022, so there's that. I like this album. Some great tunes on here. Ghost Story. They seem to always have like a Halloween song. Haunted House is another great one by Teenage Bottle Rocket. Ghost Story is pretty cool if you look that up. My wife's name is Dana, and side 2, the #1 song is called Hello Dana. Hello Dana. She's right over there. The Squirrel, Spend the Night. Just a great, you got to see this. I think I've featured this record in some videos. I don't really think I've ever really talked about it. But this is the Wax Splatter vinyl. Very cool. It's another selling point for me. And for this to be like less than $20, I was like, wow, that is awesome. Here's the inner sleeve. Skater punk, I think, is if we're going to genreize these guys, is what they would be considered. Skater punk. They made it big with their song Skate or Die back in the day. It's on Tony Hawk's like a video game, like for skateboard video game. And I remember that from back in the day. My son and I were playing that when he was little. He was I don't know, he was probably a teenager or something at the time. I can't remember. But I do remember it was a while back. Skate or Die. This is probably my favorite reissue of 2022. That's why I pulled this one out. This was the reissue of Holy Diver, Ronnie James Dio's incredible classic album from 1983. And they redid the artwork. Capitol, it says what? Capitol Rhino Records. Dio. Ronnie James Dio. I think I shared this on another video. Not going to bust it open for you. You can watch that video. I'll put it in the end screen or something. But it's a great record. One of my favorites. Goldfinger. This came out Record Store Day. Goldfinger. Another great punk band from back in the day. I suppose they're still around. They're still doing it. The guys out there making music. Hello Destiny. And pretty cool. Gatefold. That message in the title and the song. There's that Wax. Record Store Day exclusive. Probably because of this color of Wax. I don't know. I think this is the first time it's on vinyl. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe this has also got the same cover as this booklet thing. Goldfinger. More punk rock for you. This one is another cool reissue. Had to share this with you. I did not have this record, so this is my first copy of the Sex Pistols' Nevermind the Bollocks limited edition, and this is what's cool about it too. There's the sleeve. There's the guys, and it is on like lime green vinyl, like that. Pretty cool. Man, the record that really made punk more mainstream. Could this be considered the first pop punk album? I mean, that's as far as speed punk, it's real heavy punk rock. Like this album is. This was 1977? I can't remember. Yep, 1977. Amazing, that record. You could argue David Bowie was punk, right? You could argue New York Dolls, or I I know. But that album was just a massive hit. I wonder if it wouldn't have been as big of a hit if it didn't get banned in the UK. That song, God Save the Queen, is like banned in the UK. See, when you ban something, you're just gonna make it more popular. That's what's gonna happen usually. Bad Religion. This is just something I got. This has been, reissued a few times. It wasn't a 2022 thing, but I can't remember if I even picked it up in 2022, to be honest with you. But I like this record. This is Recipe for Hate. I mean, Bad Religion is just a great band. I agree with a lot of the messages in the music as someone who would consider himself a Christian, all right? I'm a very different Christian than popular pop Christianity. Didn't vote for Trump, for example, things like this. Anyway, I'm not going to get political on the show. I'm not going to do it. Even though I'm sharing punk albums. So we saw this band live. Well, at least one of the one guy who's the original member of the band, and a bunch of dudes from Germany who were pretty cool. Great. This is a fun spin. It's a bit existential. Sea of Unrest. This is the Toiling Midgets. And this band is from San Francisco. I mean, part of the genesis of punk rock on the West Coast here was Sea of Unrest. He signed it. I've got a signed copy by the man himself. Another great find in 2022 is this one I got from Daybreak Records. It's probably the most money I've ever spent on a single record. This is Tad's 8-Way Santa. This is the Forbidden album cover. They had to change the album cover, and that album there's a bunch of CDs that were made too. So those are rare, hard to find. The first pressing kind of a thing. Yeah, so, all right. So I'm going to get to it. The album I spent the most time with, it even says on Spotify. Spotify did like a run-up of, here's 2022 and all the music you liked and all this stuff. And the band that I listened to the most, or the album I listened to the most, was from 2022. It is Ghost Impera. Just a great record. I did share this record. It's a lot of cool artwork. But I like the music. I like this band. It reminds me of that kind of 80s era of just big music and loud. I like the melodies. I like this band. I like the music. There's a darkness at the heart I love. All right, that's it, man. That's my. Oh wait, hold on. I got this. Speaking of spending money on record, I spent more money on this than I've spent on a box set. So this kind of came up. I wanted to get it on. I was kind of hemming and hawing about it on record store day. I might have picked it up, but it was gone. It was sold out everywhere. And then I pulled into, I was at work, so I do gig work, and sometimes when it's slow, I'll stop at a record store. So I stopped in at Bellevue, and they had some of these. So they said, oh yeah, we got a shipment late, and there was 2 left. And picked up the Ramones Box Set, the Sire Years 80s Ramones. There's a story behind this. No, I think I'm gonna share it in another video. Should I share it in another video? Might as well. Later. Subscribe if you haven't. It's a teaser. You're gonna wanna see this. It's pretty cool.